Hi Buckingham, this is Miss Battiste, and I want to tell you about my career. I'm a CMP, a Certified Meeting Professional. It means I'm a conference planner. What's a conference? Well, it's a lot of different things, but I'm going to tell you about a couple parts of it. The first part is kind of like a classroom, it's kind of like a school. Adults come, they pay to take classes that are just for their interests or their jobs. Imagine going to school and only having to learn about your favorite subject and everything that's cool and neat in that subject. And everybody that was in that school with you also is just as excited about that subject as you are. That's one part of my job. And for that part, I have to use math. I have to use area, which I know third grade's studying, to figure out how many people I can fit in a room. I use area to figure out how big the room is and how many chairs, tables, people, and other things I can fit into the room safely. Another part is the exhibit hall. The exhibit hall is kind of like a farmer's market. People bring their products and they set up booths so that they can talk to the attendees and see if they can sell them the products that they have. To plan the exhibit hall, again, I need math. I need to figure out how many 10 by 10, so 10 foot by 10 foot booths I can fit in the space. And I use art. All the booths have signs and they have walls that have graphics, and we have to use art to make sure they all look really good. The next thing I wanted to tell you about is the general session. That's when everybody comes together to hear somebody speak, and usually we have some fun too. Sort of like when the Ravens come to Buckingham and everyone's in the cafeteria. I get to help with that part. So I make sure everybody has makeup on, they know where to stand on stage, they know when to go on stage, and they sound and they look really good. And the really fun thing is, sometimes I get to meet celebrities. One time, I got to walk around Simone Biles, who's an Olympic gymnast, because she came to help our attendees exercise. That was really neat. The other thing that I have to help with is feeding these people. I have 10,000 people at my conference to feed. And here's a little secret for you. You know how your teachers and your parents always say, finish what's on your plate. You get what you get and you don't get upset. Well, here's the secret. Adults don't do that. It's really hard to find things that 10,000 people like to eat, but we try our best, so it's always a challenge. And I also, for that, really need to know nutrition, which I know our third graders are also learning about. If I fed the attendees just cupcakes and cookies, they get tired and grumpy. So I have to make sure that they eat proteins and complex carbohydrates and lots of fruits and vegetables, so they have the energy to learn and have fun. I also need to know the different ways people eat. Some people don't eat meat or dairy or gluten, which is like bread, and some people, for religious reasons, can't eat certain food. So it's really important for me to know what goes into all the food we serve. The last part I want to talk about is my favorite. It's the party. We throw a huge party for our attendees, and it's always a lot of fun. And we've had different types of parties. One was a carnival theme. And so there was boardwalk games and music and people on stilts that were all lit up. And then at the end we had fireworks. That was fun. And then we had a party when we were in Denver, and each room was a different season. When we got to winter, we actually made that room have snow coming down inside the room. That was awesome. Then last year was one of my favorites. We were in Orlando, Florida, and we actually got to buy out Universal Studios. So just our attendees got to go on the rides. They didn't have to wait in any lines. Can you imagine that? And I got to pick out the music, the food, and the characters that our attendees got to take pictures with. The velociraptors were a really big hit. What I love about what I do is that it takes a lot of different types of people and skills to be successful. There are people who are good at cleaning, and they clean the meeting rooms and the hotel rooms. There's people who are good at serving food and making food, so they feed all of our attendees. There's people who are good with technology, and they help make the videos and the sound for the sessions. And there's people who are good at building things, and they help build the booths. And for skills, again, all sorts of different ones. There's people like me who are good at project management and problem solving and making sure overall everything works well. But there's different types too. For instance, if you happen to be somebody who maybe it's a little hard to sit at your desk and read for a half an hour, you might have just the energy I could use to say, hey, I need 100 chairs put up in this room in the next hour. That energy would be great for that. Or if you're really good at video games, you could be someone who designs the screen, what's on the screen and all the graphics. Each little light that we have on our LED screens needs to be lit up and designed by somebody. So it takes a lot of different skills, and I just think it is an opportunity where you get to travel and you get to meet different people from all over the world, and you get to see different places, and it's just really cool. So I hope you enjoyed learning about meeting planning. Thanks.